Welcome subscribers to my learner's guide to State of Decay 2, where I will not only show you guys how to survive, but to thrive. And how we're going to start doing that is by picking out the right people for the community for their skills and their traits, scouting out for good locations to be looting for play carts and for materials, figuring out how to make sure that we can get around our world efficiently without dying, and eventually getting rid of all of the plague hearts and saving the world from blood plague. But first, to begin, let's go ahead and talk about our community and get right into the action. So if you are a brand new player, this is one guide that I would watch, as this is how I have gotten through most of my playthroughs all the way up to Lethal Zone. However, we're only going to be playing up to Nightmare mode, as Lethal is going to be a little bit too hard for you guys. So first, make sure you guys can play the game on Nightmare mode and be okay with it before hopping to Lethal, because it's gonna get real crazy from there. First, what I would do, pick a map that you really like, and personally for me, that's gonna be Cascade Hills for a lot of different reasons. But for a normal player, Drunkard County is also a good one, as it has a pretty good central location for a base. Now that we have our map selected, now it is time for us to pick our characters. And this is one of the most important parts of this community, as this is the 3 people you're going to have for like a couple hours of gameplay that I'd recommend having. So we're looking for a couple of things, looking at their traits, skills, health, and stamina. And every character is different. There's hundreds of thousands of possibilities for different characters that you can get randomly, and there is no one way to get a certain character except from the legacy pool. But given that you're watching this video, you're probably looking for certain tips and tricks you probably never even beat in the game yet. So you have to just keep hoping that you get some good characters. And there's a few things that I typically look for. One, in their traits, you want to see mostly green, and the traits you do see are beneficial for you. So maybe like -1 bed per person is an okay trait, but plus 100 infection resistance is way better than another. And I'll go all over this a little bit later, but what I want to go over is making sure that I can find decent people for the job. So what I'm looking for right now is the 5th trait. So you'll see how on the first character, Allie, she has a utilities trait. I can go ahead and keep changing that until I get to what I want. And there's 3 that I'm looking for. I'm looking for hygiene, driving, and shopping. These all have their all really good benefits, but every character is really good in their own way when matched up properly with their skills and their traits. For example, if you're picking up someone character with fishing, you get +2 food per day. Now for me, if I'm playing Lethal Zone, I can get that +2 food from 1 outpost level 1, so it's not a big deal, but maybe it's useful for dread difficulty or nightmare. So really it's based on how you like it, but for me, I'm picking characters how I think I would like and making sure that I can have a smooth playthrough, because this is one of the key mechanics you have got to get down, or else you will lose hours and hours of work. And there is a very, very small chance you're going to find a yellow outline skill, in this case with scouting, coming from wits. Now these yellow skills come from you maxing out the initial level up system for wits. You see how on the left side there are 7 stars for wits, and now in here there's 7 more stars. This is a whole new level up for that system. So you can pick that if you want, but once again, it's all based on what you want. They're usually pretty good if you're just starting out. So if you do see those, I recommend trying them out, because you can get some really useful perks from having those also being fully leveled up as well. And after a few minutes, I think I have a pretty solid lineup. So Megan here is young, giving her +20 max stamina, with the 5th trait of hygiene giving her infection resistance and max health for the entire community. Next will be Warren, and Warren is going to be better for the backpacks, so you can carry more stuff and have 1 extra backpack slot, as well as the driving 5th skill, which gives him double efficiency for fuel, more stealth, and much more endurance for vehicles. And lastly is Rashawn. And Rashawn doesn't have any good traits specifically, but he's got shopping, which increases the search speed by 50%, which is going to be massive for us. So let's go ahead and start up the community and get right into the game. And now it is time for the meat and the bones of the game. And the first thing I recommend doing is opening your map and looking for any yellow creatures, as whenever you are in the character loading screen, you are losing time, so you can find enemies spawning in. As you can see down there is a bloater, a screamer, and eventually a feral to our left. So not a big deal, because a nightmare, these are actually pretty easy, but if you're on lethal, be very careful. Now, do whatever you can to avoid enemies and make your way down to the orange marker, as that will be the first start for your home base. And now that you're here, you have to start fighting off the zombies that are already in the base. There's usually not more than like 3 to 5 zombies. However, I've had some games where you start off with like hordes or screamers or ferals nearby you, so just take care quickly. And then once everything is cleared out, all the rooms have been searched, you can then go ahead and go to the station up in the top and claim your home site. Now that your home site is secure, the first thing I would do is I would clear out any trash or repair any rooms that can be repaired, as you do have a significant boost to building speed by 500% for 15 minutes for starting up a new base. And this works for the first base and any other base in the future. Our next goal is to go ahead and get the infirmary, so that way we can go ahead and get passive health, as I've lost a little bit in that fight. And before leaving, I switched to Rashawn, as he has the shopping perks, so it'll make me find the supplies just a little bit faster. And thankfully, the first quest is already marked on the map for where I can go for materials. And this is why I wanted this character, as normally a character is really slow at first because their weights are so low. But because of Rashawn's shopping skill, he loots significantly faster, even if he isn't fast searching. So my goal is to look in any crates or supplies marked on the map with a box icon, and that shows me that there's loot. But even by itself, I can loot real fast, which in the future makes this a really useful skill. So let's go ahead and get the materials and get on out of here. And after dropping off the supplies, I then cleared out the trash and I began working on my infirmary. And keep in mind the associated labor you see can't work too much on the base, but labor for the part early game is pretty okay to manage. Now our next goal is to work on getting ourselves a vehicle, because that will allow us to go around the whole world way easier than on foot, and also add a level of protection around us, because there are some enemies out there that can get really bad without a vehicle. The only problem is that I haven't yet found a gas can, so we're going to go ahead and go to one of the binocular icons on the map, and they show you that for anywhere on the map. So if you press M to open up your map, you'll see the whole area, and you'll see every single cell tower, water tower, everything that can possibly give you locations for places. So head to one of these, and what we're looking for is a oil outpost or a gas station, which would also be an outpost too. And this is going to be the way that we're going to be able to get us a new vehicle. And I see one out there is the Rames 5, but I just want the gas. And what I just searched was a fuel outpost, so we can go ahead and go to that next. And these different outpost spots are marked so that you know where you can find certain materials. So in this gas can, I found a rucksack of cooking oil, which is gas. So if you're looking for materials, you want to look for like an unfinished house. If you're looking for ammo, you want to look for a gun shop, that kind of thing. So it does help give you options to go find rucksacks, but also just common materials. And keep in mind that your car is the best weapon you're ever going to have. It may not be a gun or Molotovs, but this is one of the best way to kill enemies with your car, except for one thing, and that's the bloaters. But that'll be for a whole other episode. The next thing we're going to do is learn how to efficiently search for supplies and what to look for. So here we're at a blue-gray garage, and at the top left it'll say that the site may contain, in this case, materials, which means this is exactly where you want to look for if you're looking for a rucksack of materials, as there is a much higher chance of you finding these than, say, a food or just a normal house. Now keep in mind that some places may have zombies inside of it, so you want to kill zombies first in order for you to be able to loot without having to worry about zombies popping out of nowhere. Once again, these are all marked with the box symbols, but there's 3 different symbols here. You've got a food container, what looks like a workbench, and then just a normal box. So if I were to loot the food container, there's a very, very small chance that I'm going to find materials and probably just like some other crap that I'm not looking for. In this case, it's just tequila. In the workbench, because this is material based, there's a good chance I'm going to find a rucksack of materials, and that can count for anything. So if you're looking for gas, you want to look for gas cans or propane tanks. If you're looking for ammo, weapon cases, weapon boxes, that sort of thing. And that is my learner's guide, at least for starting out, for getting a Marauder up and going, getting some materials for your base, and getting a couple of facilities up and running. Next, we're going to working on getting a plague heart taken care of, as well as meeting our very first enclave, because those are going to be incredibly helpful for in the future. If y'all like this episode, hit the like button, subscribe, as I'm going to be doing a whole little mini series of this coming out pretty soon, within 2 weeks. So I'll see you guys in the next episode, and I hope you guys stay living and not a zombie.